Hello everyone, welcome to VBA Advanced. In this video, I'm going to talk about a very important Excel function that is indirect. So let's get started. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. And what we can do with indirect function. Let me emphasize on the importance of this function. This is Excel function. We are learning VBA, but I'm going to talk about an Excel function because this function gives you wings to fly. I use this function in almost every model I make in VBA. So this is the function you need to learn, you need to master. I need to emphasize on this, the need of understanding this function, because this is a great help. So let's go to Excel and start learning it. So I have these few files, so let me open file number 1. In file number 1 I have this sheet, so let's start this. So when we refer to a cell, we refer in a direct mode. For example, is equal to A1 is equal to A1, this is a direct reference, or is equal to A3, this is a direct reference. But if I write say A1 in cell B1 and say is equal to indirect B1, so what will happen now? The indirect function will go to cell B1 and look for a reference to another cell, and then fetch the value from that cell. For example, if I press enter, you can see I have written indirect B1 and indirectly I have approached cell A1. So if I write A3 instead of A1, I will get value from the cell A3. So your result cell is static, but your equation is changing in another cell, and that is B1 right now. So instead of typing cell reference, that is A4, what we can do? Yes, right. We can create an equation, or we can create a VBA code to generate a cell address based on some references or some circumstances. So on those circumstances, we can change the cell reference and our result will change. So indirect function, what it does is it doesn't go directly to the desired cell, but first it will look for a cell reference, and then from that cell reference it will get you the value. So right now what we have done is we have created a cell reference which is on the same sheet. What if I want to have reference from another sheet? Okay, for example, in this workbook I have this my sheet 1. Let me zoom a bit. It has some furniture item, and let's color it yellow. Then there is another sheet. This is sheet number 2, and let's color it some shade of blue. Okay, so we have two sheets. Sheet 2 is with stationery items and sheet 1 is with furniture items, and I want to get the value from these sheets by using indirect. First of all, like we learned indirect within the sheet by first referring to the direct link. So let's create a direct link to my sheet 1, and we have this equation is equal to my sheet 1. Then we have an exclamation sign and then the cell reference. So in normal cell reference we have A4, but if we want to refer to another sheet, we will have the sheet name followed by this exclamation sign and then the cell reference. So if I have this reference say this reference and I say is equal to indirect, you can see this. Oh, sorry, I was in, let me get away. This is better. So indirect B3 and the result is table, and table we have in my sheet 1 at cell A1. So what about A3? So if I go and change cell reference from here, I will get value from the A3 cell of my sheet 1. So let me break this reference into few lines. For example, let's have my sheet. What happened? Control C. My sheet 1 here, exclamation sign here, and cell reference here. So if I join these three cells, I get a full complete reference. And now let me get result from this reference is equal to indirect D4, and the result is so far. What if I change A3 to A4? I will get the bed, and if I say A1, that is the table. So this is simple. But I also have a sheet 2 with stationery. What if instead of changing cell reference, I change this sheet reference? You see, magic. With the instant change of sheet reference, my entire result will change. Now I am getting the value from sheet 2, my sheet 2, which has the stationery item, right? So this is how it works. So I can have link to the same sheet or to another sheet, but I can again control the reference. So this was my end product, and this has a reference to indirect 4. Let's get this here, and let me show you once again. If I change this to A2, sorry, there is no sheet 3, sheet 2, and if I change to A2, I will get value from sheet 2. So we have talked about within the same sheet, from another sheet. What about another workbook? So let's open another workbook. Where is here it is. Let's open file number 2. In file number 2, we have these cities in new sheet 2, and in new sheet 1, we have few cities, right? So sheet 2 has country, both are, so these are Pakistani cities, and these are international cities, London, Paris, New York, and Tokyo, right? So let's delete this first, and let's link simply to another workbook. So this is another workbook, and let's look at the equation. Now we have this. After this sheet name, we have this single inverted comma that starts with as the first letter in the equation, and then we have the file name, and file name is encapsulated within the full brackets, and then we have the sheet name, and then we have this exclamation sign, and then we have the cell reference. So if I copy this and I paste it here, and we delete this, and let's apply indirect is equal to indirect this. Oh, there is an error. What's the error? Indirect B2. Okay, I need to have these two commas so that it will not convert into comments. So here it is. You can see comma, comma, full brackets, file name, sheet name, exclamation sign, and A1. I will get the result. So what if I want to change to A2? Simply I say A2, and I will get the value from A2. Now we are going to do the same thing, and that thing is we are going to split our equation, workbook, worksheet, and the cell reference. So let's cut it, paste it here, and first we need to have this. This is the, sorry, we need to have this file name, or what we can do, we can have this Control X, Control V, then we can have file name, and then we can have sheet name, then we can have these things, and then at the last we can have the cell reference, and cell reference can come over here as A1. So let's join these statements, is equal to this and C2 and C3 and C4 and C5 and C6. So I have this reference. Okay, so it's simple now. I have this reference. All I have to do is refer to cell D1 and I will get my value, right? What if I want to change the sheet? I will go to this is new sheet, and the other one is, this one is sheet, new sheet 2. So let's change this to new sheet 2. I have a new city, that is London. I've got the new city. So what if I want to change the file name? Let's go to our folder and we have this file number 3. Let's open this file number 3 and we can see there are two sheets. You can't see the name of the sheet, but I can tell you this blue one is sheet number 2 and this light blue one, let's change it to something else, something green. Okay, this is sheet number 1 and this has the name of the countries, and sheet number 2 has name of the continents, and this is file number 3. So let's go back and say now I want to have the value from file number 3 and we want to have value from sheet number 1. Okay, sheet 1, what's the problem? This is file space 3, I think, or maybe there is no space. Let's try to delete this space. No. Why this is not working? Sheet 1, sheet 2, file 3.xlsx. I have no idea. Let's go to file number 3. There seems to be a space. Okay, and let's go to file number 1 and let's add a space, enter. Oh, this has started working. Okay, fine. So if I want to go to sheet number 2, I will get the continents. That's good, that's great. So right now our link to another sheet is working. So this is simple. This is how I do it. You need to understand the format of the reference and then you can build that reference and you can join it and you can change it as you like. But there is a catch for indirect, and let's see what's that. We go to file number 3 and we close it. You want to save changes? Save changes, yes. And this is right now we have Asia. What if I change this to A2? I got a reference. This is the catch, this is the limitation, and the limitation of indirect is that your file should be open. So if I go back to my